Billionaire Elon Musk is blasting Republicans' signature spending bill, calling it a, quote, disgusting abomination. And the White House is ending a requirement that hospitals offer abortions to women whose pregnancies are a threat to their lives. Good morning. I'm Corva Coleman from NPR News, and here are today's top stories. The cost of imported steel and aluminum is going up. NPR's Scott Horsley reports President Trump has ordered a doubling of the tariff on the imported metals starting today.
President Trump signed an executive order boosting the tax on imported steel and aluminum from 25% to 50%, making good on a pledge he issued last week while visiting a steel mill outside Pittsburgh. Trump says the higher tariffs will help to protect the domestic steel and aluminum industries. History shows it will also raise prices for the much more numerous businesses that use those metals. The 50% import taxes could have far-reaching effects on the cost of everything from automobiles to beer cans. The tariffs are authorized under a 1962 law designed to protect national security. That's different from the 1977 law Trump has relied on for many of his other tariffs, which is at the center of an ongoing court battle. Scott Horsley, NPR News, Washington.
Billionaire Elon Musk is blasting President Trump's signature spending bill as a, quote, disgusting abomination. The remarks follow Musk's departure as head of the White House cost-cutting initiative. NPR's Bobby Allen has more.
In a post on X, Musk has escalated his attacks on President Trump's big, beautiful bill, which is awaiting a vote in the Senate. Musk writes the legislation is a, quote, massive, outrageous, pork-filled congressional spending bill, saying the House lawmakers who passed it should be ashamed. The bill would cut taxes, boost military and border security spending, and slashes funding to Medicaid and clean energy programs. The Congressional Budget Office estimates the bill would add more than $2 trillion to the deficit. In a White House briefing, Press Secretary Carolyn Leavitt said Trump knows where Musk stood on the bill, and that does not change Trump's opinion. Bobby Allen, NPR News.
The Trump administration has revoked a Biden-era requirement that hospitals give emergency abortions to women in danger of their lives. That also included in states where abortion is outlawed. But there's a federal law still on the books requiring hospitals to provide emergency reproductive care. So it's not clear yet if the Trump administration is instructing hospitals to turn away women in medical emergencies. The U.S. Agriculture Department says it is suspending a demand for personal data about people who get federal food assistance. NPR's Jude Joffe-Block reports there's a federal lawsuit challenging the collection of the data.
Last month, the USDA told states they'd be required to turn over names, birth dates, social security numbers, and addresses of everyone who applied for the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, known as SNAP, over the last 5 years. The guidance cited a presidential executive order which calls for data sharing to find fraud, waste, and abuse, and came as the Department of Government Efficiency effort, or DOGE, has been amassing data for purposes that include immigration enforcement. A coalition sued USDA in federal court, saying the SNAP data demand did not comply with federal privacy laws. In a recent court filing, a USDA official said the agency has not yet collected SNAP data and will not until all necessary legal requirements are met. Jude Joffe-Block, NPR News.
The Trump administration wants to limit how long people can get federal rental aid. NPR's Jennifer Ludden reports the housing agency is writing a rule that would also allow work requirements.
The rule could be proposed by this fall, according to an internal document seen by NPR. It would expand policies that right now only a few local housing authorities have the power to enact. It's part of a broader push to promote self-sufficiency, though critics say there's little evidence these policies do that. Tacoma Housing Authority in Washington state recently ended its time limits. Executive Director April Black says tenants' wages could not keep up with skyrocketing rents.
There was no way that we were going to exit people from a program knowing that they would become homeless.
Expanding time limits and work requirements without going through Congress could also face a legal challenge. Jennifer Ludden, NPR News.
There's a vigil planned tonight in Boulder, Colorado, for the 12 victims injured in this week's fiery attack. They were holding a peaceful march for hostages still held in Gaza. The suspect is jailed and facing several counts of attempted first-degree murder. Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem says the suspect's family has also been detained by federal immigration agents.
But we're also investigating to what extent his family knew about this horrific attack, if they had any knowledge of it, or if they provided support to it.
Noem says the suspect is in the U.S. illegally. He is an Egyptian national whose tourist visa has expired. But officials say the suspect had also applied for asylum in the U.S., which makes his legal status in this country unclear. The U.S. private group distributing food in Gaza is suspending operation today. This comes after 3 deadly shootings in the past 3 days near the group's distribution sites. Dozens of Palestinians have been killed there since the group began work in Gaza more than a week ago. NPR's Carrie Kahn has more.
The Gaza Humanitarian Foundation, or GHF, says it has paused food distribution for 1 day as it works to, quote, update organization and efficiency. The group says it was not prepared to deal with the large crowds. At one site, 15,000 people arrived in 1 hour. On Tuesday, Israel's military says it fired warning shots at, quote, suspects deviating from designated routes to the food distribution, but did not fire into crowds. Eyewitnesses and health officials in Gaza say dozens were killed by Israeli gunfire. GHF just appointed evangelical leader Johnny Moore to its leadership. Moore has defended GHF's Gaza work, posting on social media that reports of deadly shootings were, quote, a lie. Carrie Kahn, NPR News, Tel Aviv.
Singer Rick Astley's 80s hit, Never Gonna Give You Up, has surpassed 1 billion streams on Spotify. NPR's Chloe Veltman reports the British pop star owes much of the song's success to the fact it has since become an internet joke.
Rick Astley's earwormy tune zoomed to the top of the charts in the US and more than 20 other countries in 1987.
Never gonna give you up, never gonna let you down, never gonna run.
Some 2 decades after its release, the song took on new life thanks to the Rick-rolling trend. The online prank involves clicking on a hyperlink that takes you not to the web page you're hoping it leads to, but instead to the Never Gonna Give You Up music video. A few other 1980s songs by British artists have reached 1 billion streams on Spotify. Among the nearly 1,000 who have reached the benchmark are Soft Cell's Tainted Love and Every Breath You Take by The Police. Chloe Veltman, NPR News.
And this is NPR News from Washington.